Hi, everybody. This is Micah Lieberman from Scope. Once again, as always, I get to do these fun video interviews. This is always the best part of my day. Chanel, Savine, I'm just saying it's kind of something it's like the fun part of my day. And the nature of all of these conversations is I'm just talking to people doing interesting work in clinical research. And I have two people on the call today. So Savine DaCosta is clinical trial access and representation lead at Biogen. And then Chanel Gabriel is a longtime patient advocate, and she's the patient advocacy lead at Proximity Health. And welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, so you're here today. The way we got connected is you are finalists, and your project, you're finalists in Scope's Participant Engagement Award. It's been running for a long time. I'm going to say prestigious now because I think it's amazing. We get all of these really interesting stories, technology companies, advocacy groups, pharma, CRO, patient recruitment agencies partnering with a disease community, people doing interesting things in this space. Okay. So you are finalists. Congratulations. You are finalists because you did a project called Better Together, Sharing Our Lupus Stories, right? Let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that, but then we'll talk about the why. Let's tell people what that was. You guys talk about it. Tell people what it is.
You want to start, Chanel, or would you like?
Yeah, sure, I can go to the technical aspects of it. Well, so Better Together is a 1 hour biweekly webinar series that airs on our media partners platform, blackdoctor.org's Facebook Live. It airs live and it centers the patient voice, patient stories. And we also explore different topics every episode, everything from dating to clinical trials to research to HR. But the whole goal of it is to really connect, educate, and empower patient advocates to live their best lives with lupus. And so there's more to it than that. We wanted to focus on the patient education part, and I'm going to pass that to Savine to talk a little bit about spotlight on research and just the other elements of the show.
Yeah, as part of doing this series, we wanted to bring it closer to research and give the folks, the PIs that do the research, a voice and let them show their passion so that people don't feel like they're just talking to just anyone. Why are you doing this research? Why is this important to you? And so instead of doing entire shows on it, which we found was a little overwhelming for people, we developed what's called the Spotlight on Research. And we invite PIs to talk about specific topics as it pertains to research, whether that's informed consent, whether that's the different phases of a trial, just any and everything people want to know. And we also do a segment called Myths and Truths. And that really dispels a lot of the myths that people believe are happening in clinical research. This also helps us address some of the fear that people have as it pertains to clinical research. But at the end of the day, a person should not, the first time they learn about clinical research shouldn't be when they're asked to participate. So people should be empowered to make these decisions, fully educated as to what they're doing, because it is a process. And so part of this is not only meeting people where they are in the stages of their disease, but also taking them a step beyond that and letting them know, hey, there's this whole other world out here. You don't have to be sick and dying to participate in a trial. These things have been elevated to be part of your treatment paradigm all along your journey. It's just a matter of knowing about it and understanding about it and having a true source of good, clear, precise, and informed education around what it is that's happening and how you can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you said. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chanel.
I was gonna say, and I think the thing that makes what we do unique is the holistic aspect of it. We're allowing lupus patients to voice their stories and experiences with lupus, learn more about the disease state, and learn how to further, support their journey through research. And so it becomes like this kind of 360 conversation. We have experts come on that speak about different things, everyone from medical billing specialists to
Yeah.
That's
meditation,
relevant.
people leading
Yeah.
meditation. So
Not boring,
but
actually. Super
yeah.
relevant if you're in that,
Yeah.
if you're that family, that caregiver dealing with this. Yeah.
And Micah,
Yeah.
one of the things why I'm so passionate about this project is part of my job is I go out and do community engagement. And the one thing that I do is I listen. And what I was hearing was, we need a safe place to talk about what's happening with us. Lupus warriors already have a strong community. This just helps that along a little bit more and brings more people into the fold that may be a little shy to go to an in-person meeting or don't have the time, but they can sit home with their family and they can do this as a webinar. So the convenience and optionality of it also helps with the community. And then once we platformed it and had people say, so tell us your lupus stories, other people have identified with this person's story and then tap in. So it becomes like I don't want to say a movement per se, but it's a place for people to feel comfortable and to share and feel welcomed, not judged, and be able to express those intimate topics that really affect them that they may not want to talk about, like hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to the lupus community, so, but they may not want to address that. But once they hear other people talking about it, then they're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Savine, is support group a corny term? I mean, because it's more than you're building a community. And what you said earlier, you said we want people to know about this stuff before they're at the point of like entering a trial last minute and they're in absolute shock. They're scrambling, right? You want to build this community and you want to build awareness, but there is a support group aspect to this stuff. When you're in something, when you're in it, you're not alone, right? And I don't know. The term community is broad, but there's aspects of that versus I'm the parent of a child caregiver versus I'm somebody into it versus I'm an investigator. All of these people are all members of this community, and the more you bring them together, the more powerful it is. The more it goes forward.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Chanel.
Yeah, no, I was like this, I was actively listening, like, yes. But no, I think what was really interesting is with proximity when we were first, asked to kind of come up with this idea and develop this, we
Yeah.
actually did a focus group with lupus warriors. I have lupus myself, just to also be clear, like, but we had a focus group as lupus warriors and they shared like these are the conversations that they want to have. And I mean, everything, so much of what the show has become started off with, hey, this is what we'd like to talk about. This is what we'd like to see. This is the title we're thinking of. What do you think about that? And it was very much patient informed from the beginning. And it continues to be so whenever, we are in our 5th season. We reached over 1 million views.
That's amazing.
All of our episodes, and this targets a demographic that traditionally is not represented in clinical trials, African American women. While we have everyone watch and everyone joins in and tunes in, that's the demographic we primarily are speaking to, who are overrepresented in lupus and underrepresented in clinical trials. And so, and also, often not heard, their complaints are not heard by doctors and medical professionals. So giving them just the tools to help them advocate for themselves, empower them to be able to say, okay, I heard this. My doctor told me that this was nothing, but this woman just mentioned that she went through the same thing I went through. So maybe I need to get a second opinion. Like, these are the experiences that we want our viewers to have. And that allows it to feel like that community, that support group.
Right.
We engage with the chat. We sometimes they slide in the DMs on Instagram on our Instagram page, So it becomes a wider thing than just like an episode or just a series that's passively enjoyed.
And also,
Micah,
go ahead.
You mentioned, like, for me, I think it's an elevated support group, because when I think of support groups, sometimes it can be kind of dark sometimes and heavy. But what this community has done and they've created is they allow the person to feel free to share their story, no matter what that is, and then lift them up.
Yeah, that's
and
what
then
I wasn't sure what term to use, because if I hear support group, I think usually trauma, right? This is, but also then I think of also like all the fun I've had. It's not trauma, but like when you're a young parent and you're commiserating with other parents with like nightmare 2-year-olds or whatever. There is something really powerful about that, because, okay, first of all, you're not in it alone. Secondly, you get advice. And thirdly, there's like this community, this knowledge base that grows over time for everybody, and it becomes more efficient. One thing we didn't talk about is, because it's of time, I said I was going to ask you guys more about what this is, but also I wanted to ask you about the why, because one of the reasons this project is a finalist in the Participant Engagement Award at Scope is because I think it's unique, it's creative. And Chanel, what did you say earlier? You said, I don't want to put words in your mouth. What did you say when we were talking about this? You said, um, it doesn't patient engagement doesn't need to be flat. I don't know if you said boring. What did you
No, she
say?
said
Flat.
flat.
I
Yeah.
said flat. I
That's
said the
right.
word flat. I think sometimes think that patient engagement, and even when we have guests come on, when I'm like, as the producer, I'm inviting the guests on. I'm like, this is conversational. This is very, hey, sister girl. This is very,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
It's a
we
vibe.
want to make sure that people feel like I'm talking to somebody that's a person like me, not
Yeah.
this person who's a professional patient. It's just
Yeah.
and while we have some people that are on that are super accomplished as patient advocates that have done unspoken major rooms, we have some, we've had many guests who this is their first time talking about lupus at all,
Yeah.
And so those dynamics kind of play a role in just the level of engagement that we receive, the feedback. And also, sometimes we've had guests come on like, I've never thought about a clinical trial. And they're a guest on the show, but after we're having the segment, they're like, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way. And I myself have been a part of clinical trials, and I've watched a drug come to market that I was on a trial for, so I know firsthand how important this is. And also I know that, like, when you want to build trust, because that's a big part of it is trust.
Yes.
You want to build trust in the patient community, but like Sabine said, it can't be, hey, we need you to take this thing, trust us. It
Sign
has
here.
to be built.
Yeah.
And Mike,
Yep.
I also wanted to add that we all know the definition of insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over again and looking for a different result. And engaging with our communities, we have to ask, what is it that you need? What is it that you're looking for? And then be able to deliver that to them in an appropriate way. So the traditional way of recruiting for a clinical trial, we've not seen the needle move in underrepresented communities in years. So we need to do something different. We need to innovate around something different. And that's kind of the genesis of what this is, the opportunity to engage with communities that are not represented in clinical trials where they are, and then move the needle from there to help them develop into a higher level of medical knowledge, more about clinical trials, and sometimes even more about their own disease to feel comfortable in being able to take that next step. And also having them not feel like they're coming to something and they're waiting for the shoe to drop. What are you going to ask me to do? What do you want from me? This community has learned that Better Together is about them and about understanding their needs and helping in any way we can, and then asking them to just spread that knowledge to their family, to their care provider, caregiver, or whatever. And this is part of the reason why we collaborated on this. I mean, we started doing seminars, in-person seminars, and other things, but this has really become scalable in a way that I have not seen anything else.
Yeah.
And
It's been a good
also, and
surprise.
and to give some context, 'cause I just realized we didn't mention this. One of the things about it is we're directing people to the Biogen trial link site, and that embedded in it is not even like the lead thing. It's not an ad, it's non-commercial. It's like, hey, we're telling you a little bit about clinical trials. If you want to learn more, this is where you can go, and here's the link in the chat. And we've seen such numbers. Sabine, you said it was 750.
Yeah, and Chanel, I'll just say we lead them to the education part of the trial link, not even to where they can go find a trial. It's click away, but it's for them to have that power to activate that on their own, but to be able, once they feel like they're doing that, to be able to help and give resources as it pertains to that. This is very much a driven program for empowering and having people activate on their behalf, or having their family help them activate, and having a safe space to ask the questions and do what they feel like they need to do.
I can say for Proximity Health Solutions, it's been so good working with Savine and the Biogen team to make this happen. I mean, just the passion that Savine has for this work, that with the passion that myself and my amazing team have around this patient education. I just feel like it was just a really good example of a true partnership for this. And we have the same vision, not just the numbers, which we know is important. We need people in these trials, but just really that passion for like what is going to help patients in the long run. Is it just this one time doing this trial, or is it general understanding that they can share with the community and the wider community and explain, hey, this is an option? Like that's more important than just the recruitment for this one time. That's going to pay it forward in so many ways.
And I can say the same about working with Proximity and the team. I'm proud of my company for continuing this work and the way that we do it, because typically you want to hear, what's your return on investment? So I've developed a platform based on return on engagement. And so because this is early awareness work, I'm really proud of the work that we've been doing at Biogen to really sustain this project and keep it moving, because it is the right thing to do. It's not just a business imperative, but it's the right thing to do for people, and to show people, if you're going to be patient centric, then you really have to care about people and show up and show them that you want to do that work, and I think we've been able to do that with Better Together, almost so to the point where not only are we looking to continue in the lupus area, but expand it into other therapeutic areas.
Obviously, this is, it's absolutely a template. We're way over time. We can keep going, but we got to stop. And also this is just a teaser for Scope, because we're going to all see each other in February.
Yeah.
So it's good work. It's a huge discussion, like you said, beyond just this project, but I just want to give this project credit. Thank you for both of you for doing what you did. You accomplished a lot, and it's not over. You're still going.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Thank you, Chanel. Thank you,
This
Savine.
is my jam.
Yeah. Congratulations to Biogen and Proximity Health Solutions. This is so cool.
What we haven't shared is Chanel is a huge lupus patient advocate, but I'm also a patient advocate for the disabled community. Okay. So that is a big reason why I'm so patient focused and so in this the way I am.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you both in February. Congratulations.
Thank you.